Hey guys, Eli here. Hope you're all doing well. Welcome to my living room, living room of dark hymns of the cold north. I figured I needed to start, doing a little bit more variety with my videos lately. I've been sticking mostly to the, movie reviews, movie trailers, but I mean, just nobody's watching them anymore. So I'm gonna keep doing that because that's like my creative outlet. But I figured for viewers and just to keep the channel, a little bit more fun, need a little bit more variety. So I'm gonna go back to something that I'd started like 5 years ago. I didn't get very far. I'm just gonna pull movies off my shelf in alphabetical order. I was thinking maybe 10 at a time, and just talk about them for a little bit. My collection has kind of blown up quite a bit since the last time I did these kinds of videos. 4 or 5 years ago, 6 years ago, whatever. So there's going to be a decent amount of movies that I have that I haven't seen yet. So don't expect reviews. Like, these aren't reviews. This is just, I think physical media is just so fun to collect. I like seeing what you guys have and what you guys are collecting. So, and as we all know, when you buy stuff at a certain pace, you can't really watch it. Sometimes you can't watch it as fast as you buy it. So don't expect reviews or anything like that. This is just going to be for fun. Kind of like you coming over and hanging out with me at my house or whatever. I'm only showing part of my living room because the rest of it's a fucking disaster. But anyways, this looks pretty good. So, like I said, we're going to pick up right where we left off last time, which is right about here. All right, we've got a Evil Dead Trap. This is a 1988, very gruesome, very graphic Japanese horror movie. This is actually a 2021 re-release from Unearthed. If you're not familiar with Unearthed, they pretty much specialize in super underground and, from what I've seen, usually very controversial and gory type movies. So I have not seen this yet. I've been meaning to see it for a long, long time, and I'll probably get around to it soon, but as of now, I haven't. Then we've got Exuma. This is a Korean horror film from 2024. I actually did a review on this. I really need to watch this again because I thought it was a very good movie, but there were like a lot of things that I just didn't quite understand about it. And after watching watching reviews and kind of reading about it later, there was just a lot of things that I missed, like the incorporation of Japanese culture and the history of Japan and Korea. I'm an American guy. We don't know everything, obviously, about parts of Asia, the history of Asia, and I certainly have always been interested in Asian countries, but I don't, I'm still a dummy at the end of the day. So anyways, really good movie. I've reviewed it on this channel. You can check that out if you want, but I need to rewatch it. Then we've got Paul Nashai's Exorcism. This is basically, if you haven't seen this, you probably guessed it just by looking at the front. Yes, this is an Exorcist clone movie. A lot of people do like this. Paul Nashai is a huge kind of, cult underground European, horror hero. And I like a lot of his stuff, especially his werewolf stuff. But, man, this one's okay. It's okay. Does it touch The Exorcist? Absolutely not. In fact, I think there are plenty of other, Exorcist clone movies that are way better than this. But it's, for wacky, 70s European horror, it's worth a watch. Now, speaking of Exorcist clones, I wouldn't say this is one, but this is definitely an Exorcist-inspired movie, and one of my favorites, The Exorcism of Emily Rhodes. Sorry about that glare, it's a very white cover. This movie, in my opinion, is just absolutely fantastic. It's scary. In fact, it's utterly horrifying. I saw this in the theater back when it came out, I don't know, whenever it came out. I can't believe it's a PG-13 movie, by the way. I forgot about that until just now, because there's not a lot of profanity. There's not really gore or anything like that. But as far as scares and atmosphere, this movie is horrifying. Look, I don't believe in supernatural, paranormal stuff. I certainly don't believe in God and the devil and stuff like that. If you do, that's fine. But I grew up a Christian kid, so I think even to this day, just because of like religious trauma that most ex-Christians suffer from, I even though I don't believe in this kind of stuff, it still scares me. Like when I watch a good movie about exorcism related things, like if it's done well, it still kind of chills me to my core. And this movie absolutely chilled me to my core the first time I saw it, and in fact, most times that I've watched it. And I just think it's a really good movie. Laura Linney's in it. Who's the main actress is Jennifer Carpenter, who I've always liked, and she's great here. It's just it's just a new take on the exorcism genre, which so many movies have not been able to do. I mean, there are probably hundreds, if not, no, let's be honest, there's probably thousands of, like, essentially, exorcist ripoffs, and 99% of them or so are just not very good. This one, to me, is possibly the best. Speaking of The Exorcist, I've got 2 copies of said movie, the 1973 mega classic, arguably my favorite film of all time, at least for horror. I've just always been such a fan of this movie. The first few times I saw it, though, the first time I saw it, I think it was 18 or 19 years old, and it scared the living shit out of me. I'm glad I didn't see it as a child, because I don't know what that would have done to my little pea brain. I don't even know what else I could say about this. We all know The Exorcist. You don't need me to sit here and tell you what it's about. It is, not only is it one of the scariest movies of all time, it's just a very fucking well-made movie. I mean, William Friedkin, he wasn't fucking around. Yeah, man. To this day, it's a movie that I hold just so close to my heart. By the way, I keep all my, different formats, Blu-ray, 4K, DVD. I keep them all together, mixed. I don't separate them or anything like that. So you're going to see, all the different formats. And yes, I'd say probably at least 75% of my collection is DVD. I've spent the last couple years trying to kind of slowly upgrading things, but I'm not in a hurry for that. So you'll notice that I'm, I don't want to say missing a movie here, but you'll notice that I'm intentionally missing a movie, because we're going to jump right to 1990's Exorcist 3. This is one that I kind of slept on for a long time. I don't think I really ever watched this. It was probably a decade ago, maybe, I don't know, 10, 12 years ago, something like that. So, obviously I waited a long time. And to be honest, I think the reason that I watched it was because over the last, 10 or 12 years, it's been getting a lot of love, which is cool. I've seen The Exorcist 2. I don't need to have that in my collection. Bar someone giving it to me for free, I don't think it'll ever be on my shelves. I did see that back in the day, and I'll be honest, that is one that I would rewatch, because I think I've only seen it once. I utterly hated it because I was still on the high from, watching The Exorcism for the first time, and I was like, what the hell is this? What happened here? But this one, man, this one's good. This one's obviously, if you've seen it, it's a completely different beast. They didn't need to try and recreate the original Exorcist. I think that would have been, it could have been good, but it would have been very, very generic. And this is not. This is like a whole new story. It just veers far from, it feels like an Exorcist movie, but it does veer pretty far from the original Exorcist in terms of, in terms of a lot of things. But in its way, in its own way, I think it's kind of just as good. So it's been really cool seeing it, garner so much more hype and love and admiration, over the, like I said, over the last 10 or 15 years. So I've seen people say that this is their favorite Exorcist movie. They think it's better than the original. I would disagree with that, but they're just different movies. But it's damn good. And then I kind of don't know why I have this in my collection, but it's an interesting curiosity, I guess. Dominion, the prequel to The Exorcist. This came out back in 2005. There are actually 2 different versions of this. There's this one, and then I don't know if this is the one that was shown in the theater. Maybe it was, but there's also a version of this movie that was shown in the theater, and it was actually that version that I saw. So a lot of people over the years have said, you know what, Dominion is actually okay. It's actually a decent movie, and it's by far the better, version of the 2 movies. I'm not going to go as far as to say that it's good, or even that it's okay. This is definitely one that I would rewatch, though. To be honest, man, I don't remember what the name of the theatrical version was, because I don't think it was called Dominion. I think it was called something else. And I don't own that one, so yeah, I would definitely rewatch this. And, the theatrical version, when I saw it in the theater, I actually did think it was okay. I mean, I do like Stellan Skarsgård. He's a good actor. You got Paul Schrader directing this version. I don't know if he directed that theatrical version. Sorry, them. I know all these facts, but it's like they just fell out of my head. You can only hold so much info in your brain, so I think every now and then my brain will kick out just kind of worthless bits of info. Like, dude, you never talk about those movies. Let's just click, delete. But anyways, I would be curious to hear your guys' thoughts on the Dominion and the theatrical version. Do you guys like either of them, or do you think one is better than the other? That is something that does kind of interest me. So, yeah, I do look forward to rewatching this, and I'll do a review when I get there. From 2014, we've got Extraterrestrial from IFC Films. I don't know, man. This is as you would guess just by looking at it, yes, this is an alien abduction movie. I think IFC has IFC Midnight especially has put out some pretty cool stuff over the years, but this is just not very good. I was intrigued by the cover, everything about it. I think I bought this at a thrift store or something like that. But yeah, if you absolutely love, alien abduction movies, if that's like your main thing, that's your favorite genre, I would say maybe check it out. For everyone else, there's just so much better movies, in that genre to watch. So I wouldn't really recommend this to many of you. 2017, we've got The Eyes of My Mother. Another one that I have reviewed here on my channel. This is a very good movie, but god damn, is it bleak? Is it bleak? I mean, this is one of the more bleak movies I've ever seen. It's a horror movie that centers on, child abuse and isolation, and what things like that can do to a child as they grow up to to become an adult. And I think that's really all I'm going to say about it. It's definitely, I would recommend this to all horror fans, especially horror fans that are, into the more bleak stuff, the stuff that will kind of leave you, feeling bad. Like, you know what I mean? Like, only a select handful of movies have made me feel that way, and this one made me feel that way. Last but not least, from 1984, we've got the folk horror classic Eyes of Fire. This is one that I only really recently watched, and I again reviewed it on the channel here. Yeah, man, this movie wasn't really on my radar, I don't think, prior to buying it. This was like a total blind buy. I mean, look at that cover. Just based off that and what I read off the back, I was definitely sold. I really do like folk horror. This is a British folk horror movie, and man, it's pretty damn good. It's got some really cool visual effects, especially for a low budget and for 1983 or 4, whenever it came out. It's fairly unique. The story and everything. Again, I'm not a folk horror expert, but this one for me just kind of. I don't think it's particularly scary, but it's atmospheric, just like you would expect, or that you would want. And yeah, man, if that cover intrigues you, definitely check out Eyes of Fire. If you're a folk horror fan, it won't disappoint. And that's all I got for now, guys. That was pretty fun. Yeah, I think I'm gonna keep this series going until I show all the movies in my collection. Like I said, just trying to mix it up. I'm not trying to complain or anything like that, but I know that I've looked into it a little bit. The algorithm has been kind of fucking a lot of people. YouTube is really focusing on promoting shorts right now. It really bums me out because every now and then I'll record a short and they always get like 50 times the views that the videos like this that I actually put time and effort into. But hey, it is what it is. I like the creative outlet. I would keep doing movie reviews even if nobody watched them, just to be honest. I've always needed creative outlets, even going back to childhood. It's just, I think it's a thing that everyone needs. But anyways, I appreciate you guys coming in my living room, the clean part of it, and hanging out with me. Hopefully you look forward to more videos. Anyways, it's Friday. Hope you guys have a good weekend. Go out and see some movies. I'm going to try to finally see The Odyssey. I've just been not intentionally avoiding it, but as each day passes, I just want to see it more and more. So yeah, hope you guys have a good one, and cheers. See you at the multiplex. Subscribe right now, please.